If you think you're stuck until next November when open enrollment restarts, you're not. But these options only apply to certain people. So, yes, if you need public marketplace, your standard ACA Obamacare, you've got to have a qualifying life event when open enrollment ended. Otherwise, you got to wait till open enrollment in November. However, there are medically underwritten private options. Major carriers offer them to people that are healthy and low risk. These are offered year round, and they typically save you money if you're not qualifying for subsidies based on your income, that kind of thing. But it's not for everyone. Your health matters. Your income matters, because if your income's low enough, you probably should still go on Obamacare. I mean, like if you're actively in like cancer treatment right now, or you have things like Crohn's disease or lupus that's like really uncontrolled, or you've got a scheduled surgery, something diagnosed, this is not for you. Okay. This is for people that are pretty healthy. You can have like some high blood pressure. You can take some pain meds, that kind of thing. You just can't have any major pre-existing. So listen, if you're relatively healthy, all right, you're earning too much for meaningful subsidies, or you're stuck on overpriced COBRA options, because that's another thing. A lot of people are getting laid off and they're getting COBRA, and their insurance prices are like, I don't know, 3-4 times what they're normally paying. Listen, you can apply at healthnerd.net. I personally review every application. Let me tell you about these private options. They're going to be offered by major carriers, okay? All the major carriers you can think of, they offer them. However, there's a bunch of them that are honestly trash plans. They're limited benefit. They're made for short-term use. They're going to be pretty cheap for a reason. What you really want to look out for are plans that have a max out of pocket. That's the main thing, because that's your financial stop loss. Essentially, though, if you go through one of the three big major carriers, United, Blue Cross, Cigna, they're all going to offer well-priced options for people that make too much money to get a subsidy on Obamacare. And they're going to be less expensive than your COBRA 9 out of 10 times. Most clients are going to save a ton on their premiums anyway. It's just, what they've changed in Obamacare last year has been really tough. The premiums went up, the coverage went down. The private options, they have very good benefits. Most of them are ACA compliant. If you want really cheap plans, you can get ones that don't cover things like maternity and mental health. That saves you a ton of money, actually. Even if you need those and you pick one that covers it, it's still going to be less expensive. And they're not going to be those like HMO plans that you've heard about. HMOs restrict you. You're only covered in a small area. Like your county, you get a little bit of emergency coverage in your state. You get an EPO or a PPO with these private options. So you also get nationwide coverage. So states like Georgia and Texas, for example, Colorado, they don't have any PPO options on the marketplace. So unless you got it through an employer, you're not going to get it. So you got to go private. If your COBRA is expensive, yeah, don't pay it. Just get a private plan. You can get better coverage. Again, it's not for everybody. They're not going to accept you to the coverage if you have a scheduled surgery, if you're currently diagnosed for being pregnant, if you have major things like you had a heart attack last year or a stroke. These plans, they want people that they deem are pretty low risk. You don't have to be an Olympian. The idea with them offering private options is that they're banking on you never having a major claim. They have to cover you for any claims like anything else, but it's going to be like 10 times less claims on a private plan holder than a ACA plan holder. It's like, dude, you shouldn't have a mortgage payment as your health insurance.